Welcome back. Now, the trade relationship between South Africa and the United States has been under scrutiny of late. Newly appointed Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Park Stow, will need to navigate the intricate web of global politics, especially at a time where bets for a Trump victory increase. And joining me to share his analysis on these relations is John Stremlau from Wits University's Department of International Relations. Thank you so much for your time, John. Now, just to start off the conversation, what is your take on the U.S. political landscape heading to the 5th of November? Has there been a significant shift?
Well, this is a very timely subject because it is AGOA linked. The Republican criticisms of AGOA and of South Africa are overridden currently by the Biden administration. And if the Democrats prevail in November, then I think AGOA and South Africa's relationship under AGOA, which is 56% of the exports under AGOA to the United States, would be continued. And Biden's close friend, Chris Coons, the senator from Delaware, is eager for a 16-year renewal. But if Trump prevails, all bets are off. He's a nationalist, a protectionist, a tariff guy, and he would find some way to neuter, even if the Democrats succeed in renewing before the expiration of their mandate in January 2025. I think they would try to get through the Congress somehow a renewal of the AGOA, but it's a very problematic period.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting, John, because even within the Biden administration, there obviously has been a call for legislation that could lead to a full review of SA-US relations. And we do know that the current AGOA agreement does expire in September next year. How are you looking at the tone that has been set in the last, year or 6 months or so, or at least in the short term, in terms of South Africa-US relations, considering the tension that there was in terms of the stance on Russia?
Well, I don't want to sound cynical, but the call on the Biden administration to do a review of relations with South Africa was rendered by Chris Coons, who is a big fan of not only the AGOA, but South Africa's role in AGOA. So what he was trying to do was to neutralize the kind of criticism that we hear from the Republicans, who are A, historical, and B, don't care about democracy being consolidated here in South Africa. We have the most progressive and inspirational constitution in the world, but yet we have high degrees of poverty, inequality, and joblessness. And you've got to grow this economy. And AGOA, while it's not the be-all or end-all, it nevertheless does provide enormous opportunities for car imports to the United States and a variety of other things.
Yeah. John, should a full review of SA-US relations at this point be seen as a threat, or maybe just a platform to open up dialogue?
Well, it won't be this year, an election year, especially with the Democratic Party in crisis now over the prospect of having Biden. 56% of the Democrats want Biden to step down. And those are just the declared ones. And according to the recent yesterday's AP NORC poll, and it's a very interesting time politically in the United States. Yeah. But I listened to Chris Coons give a podcast recently on AGOA, and it was inspiring. And he's an enthusiastic proponent. But his voice will be drowned out if the Republicans take the Congress and especially the White House. So it is hard times, and I think that South Africa should keep its ear to the ground and try to, there are 59 million immigrants since the Immigration Reform Act went into effect in 1965, from Africa into the American political system. And they are strongly democratic, but you've got to win them over again. And I would hope that the Democrats could do it again. And there'll be an important force for pro-AGOA deliberations should the Democrats win.
Well, if the Democrats don't win and there is a Trump comeback, I mean, Trump has been president before. In terms of how SA-US relations were then, do you think that that could inform the way forward from here on out if Trump does come back?
Well, Trump only voiced concern about South Africa when he listened to Afroforum and about white farmers being killed, and Cyril Ramaphosa rightly said, "Butt out, buddy." And I think that relations between South Africa and the United States would chill considerably, since Biden is a tariff guy. He wants to slap tariffs on to China, and he wants to slap tariffs on to everybody else. And no one has thought through. I saw that Bob Rubin, former Treasury Secretary, weighed in on the New York Times and saying, "Look, what Trump is proposing would create a firestorm of inflation in the U.S." But Trump doesn't know very much, and he's now riding the momentum of the Republican National Convention, plus his survival of an attempted assassination, which I'm glad he survived. But still, it's a mean, nasty, ugly picture if Trump prevails, especially with J.D. Vance as his vice president, who knows nothing, but is a populist again and a traditionalist, very much in the Jacob Zuma mode. So I don't want to sound partisan here, but it is a very critical moment for AGOA, and I want to add one point about AGOA in its revisions going forward. There is an effort by Coons and others to link it more closely to the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is a very positive development for helping the African countries to develop along with their increased trade.
All right. Well, John, we will be hearing the conclusions that do come out of AGOA next week, as it is taking place in the U.S. next week, the forum there. But also, we will be keeping a close eye on the developments on the U.S. elections. Of course, that is less than 4 months away. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights there. That was John Stremlau from Wits University.